Welcome to In Her Voice, a podcast created for women who listen to and live by their deepest wisdom, their inner voice. This was made for you, the woman who feels pulled to more, to lead, to create, to dream, and to be a world changer. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am an inner voice coach. Join me here each week as we explore what it means to reach for your inspired potential, all while honoring your worthiness each and every day. Oh, hey there. This is Kelly, and you are listening to In Her Voice, and I'm so grateful that you decided to press play today because I have something to give you. Today, I am going to give you permission to dream. Well, actually, I can't really give that to you. You've got to give it to yourself, but that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. And I wanted to come on and talk about this today because in my workings with my clients, I've noticed something about really smart, really driven, really ambitious women who tend to be overachievers, who tend to be a little bit perfectionistic, right? Yes, I'm describing myself. I'm describing myself to someone that I know really, really well. But I see this a lot in the women that I work with. And that is, it is really hard to dream because what happens is when we start dreaming, we get into this place of like trying to solve all the problems, trying to fix it, trying to create the plan, trying to figure out the how. And when we are talking about living with vision, the dreaming part is a necessity. And we really have to come to this place where we start to turn off that thinking part of our brain. And I know you're a thinker. That's why you're here. You think about things. You wouldn't be diving into your inner voice if you didn't think about things. But sometimes you just need to shut it down and give yourself permission to dream without figuring out the how. And as I worked with one of my clients on this, she was like, yeah, that's really hard for me to do because, like I sit down to journal or I sit down to make a list of my dreams or just do it. And I immediately start to see all of the flaws, all of the ways that is not going to work. And how do I shut that down? And it reminds me of this great story. I might have told this story to you guys before, but it's about this man who goes to fish at a new river. He's never been fishing there before. And he begins to fish and he notices downstream a little bit that there's this older man who is fishing. And the guy is like just pulling in fish left and right. I mean, like one after the other. So he starts to kind of pay attention to the guy because he thinks, oh, well, I can learn something from him. And he notices that every time the guy gets a fish, he pulls it in and he measures it against this broken ruler. And if the fish is longer than the broken ruler, he throws it back. And the guy was like, I wonder what that's all about. You'd think he'd want to keep the big fish. And he thinks, well, maybe there's something wrong with the big fish. So he goes up and he says to the guy, hey, I've been watching you and I notice every time you catch a fish that's bigger than your ruler, you throw it back in. And so like, I'm curious, like, is there something wrong with the bigger fish? Like, are they bony or maybe they don't taste good? Or is there a rule against, taking home the bigger fish? And the old man says, oh, no, the big fish they're delicious. But you see, my frying pan is the size of this ruler. And so I only take the fish that will fit into my frying pan. And I throw the rest back. Now think about that, you guys. When you dream, if you are only trying to fit your dreams into the size of your life as it is right now, into the circumstances of your life right now, what are you throwing back? What are you throwing away? What are you saying, oh no, that's not for me? And so when we're always in planning mode, when we're always in fix-it mode, we're going to constantly be comparing the size of our dreams to the size of the life that we're living right now. But that's not what dreaming is about. Dreaming is about creating a life that is bigger than what you have now. It's about creating a life that is more than what you have now. And so that takes stretching. That takes not knowing how you're going to fit the fish into your frying pan, right? And it also takes belief that it can happen. So you have to have all of these sort of ingredients when you're dreaming, and you have to leave out the thinking and leave out the wondering how and leave out the steps that it's going to take to get there, because those will get in your way. And I'm not saying that there's not a time for planning and that there's not a time for figuring out the steps and there's not a time for problem solving, because there is. It's just not when you're dreaming. And so one of the tools and strategies that I gave to my client to help her give herself permission to dream is this: give yourself a container for dreaming. And so what do I mean by that? Maybe you dream when you're driving. Dreaming and driving, that is legal, I promise. And so what I mean by that is, like, if you're driving, your thinking brain is already involved with the driving piece. It doesn't take that much of your brain to make sure you're driving safely, right? And so you can use the creative part of your brain to dream, and you can just flow into that. I have some of my best creative ideas when I'm driving because my thinking part of my brain is preoccupied, and it's not telling me all the things that are wrong with my plan. And so I love dreaming and driving because that really allows me the space to dream into all of the possibilities, to turn off the problem solver, the fixer, and just dream. And what used to keep me from doing that was I was afraid I would forget things because I'm driving. So how do I keep track? So what I started doing is, if I have a really good idea or if I'm in that sort of dreamy space while I'm driving, I will record myself talking. I will just record it into Voxer or into my voice memo on my phone. And that way I have it. Or as soon as I get home, I'll just jot some things down on a notepad or into my journal. And, sometimes I'm done. Like, I don't even think about it anymore after sort of that session. But I come back to it later and it's still there for me. And the funny thing is if I've given myself this container of space where I've just been dreaming and not been trying to fix things or problem solve or figure out the plan, and then I leave it, when I come back to it, I have lots of new perspective. It's almost like seeing it fresh again and being like, oh yeah. And then you can start to piece together a plan or steps or some inspired action that gets you a little bit closer, that will help you see more and more possibilities in that dream. So today, I want to encourage you to write yourself a permission slip. And it can say something like this: I hereby give myself, Kelly Covert, insert your name there, right? Permission to dream without planning. I give myself permission to believe in all of the possibilities. I give myself space to dream bigger than what my life can hold right now. And sometimes it helps truly to write it out, to actually write yourself a permission slip. And maybe you write that permission slip and you put it in your car. And the next time you're in your car driving to pick up your kids or whatever, you dream for 5 or 10 minutes. See what happens. And I am curious to know, I want to touch in with you guys. Tell me what your dreams are. Tag me over on Instagram, leave a screenshot, and let me know what came up in your dreaming session. And I'm talking about the dreaming session where you believe in all of the possibilities. Everything is on the table, not the one where you're throwing out those ideas that don't fit into the life that you have right now. So be courageous when you're doing this. And you know what? If this sounds hard, I'm going to be honest with you. It can be. You know why? We're not taught to live life like that. You know, we have a life that we have to live, and we have to plan, and we have to fix things, and we have to make things work, and we have to problem solve, and we have to figure out how to get kid number 1 here when kid number 2 has to be over there, and we have to work and all of the things, right? And so sometimes it takes practice, and sometimes it takes encouragement, and sometimes it takes accountability to do this. And so if you're feeling like, oh, I have no idea even where to begin when it comes to dreaming, I'm here to help you. My role as an inner voice coach is to ask the questions that get you thinking into possibility, that get you throwing out your broken ruler that you measure all of your dreams by, and really to dive into a space where all things are possible. One of my great gifts is faith. I have so much faith. I have so much belief that all of the things can happen. And as an inner voice coach, one of the things that I give you is my belief too. And sometimes you need that. You need a little extra believing. You need a partner in the dreaming and someone to hold that space for you and say, yes, I believe this too. And I also know that there's more dreaming left to be done. So get on it. So when you work with me as an inner voice coach, these are the kinds of things that we do together. And I'm really, really excited to be rolling out my newest form of coaching. I've talked a little bit about it, but it's finally open to all, and it is called Inner Voice Coach in Your Pocket, and it is where we use Voxer to communicate back and forth. And it is so cool. Like, I am loving it so much. How it works is we have a 30-minute face-to-face video conference call at the beginning of the month. And in that, we just sort of get an idea of what you're going to be working on this month, the practices that you're going to be doing, sort of the direction that you want to be headed in terms of listening to your inner voice. And then all of our interactions after that for the rest of the month are on Voxer. And it may seem silly, but you guys, this is crazy powerful. And this is why, because as you speak out your truth, as you speak out the questions that you have on your mind, the answers to those questions, the answers to the questions that I'm asking you, as you touch in with me on the practices that you've been doing, you start to have an audio record of what your inner voice is saying. And I use my intuitive gifts to help guide you in that. And it's just this lovely back and forth of support, of guidance, of reflective listening, which is another one of my great gifts. Like, what I can do for you is to help you hear more clearly your inner voice. And when you start to hear that and you start to live by that, whoa, watch out, because amazing things are going to start to happen. You are going to start creating crazy, amazing, beautiful things in your life, and your dreams will start to come true, truly. So if you are interested in that, if that sounds like something that you would like to know more about, I would like to chat with you. So please sign up for a free discovery call. You can find that link in the show notes. It's kellycovert.com/discovery. And we can connect. We can talk about what Inner Voice Coaching Your Pocket looks like and feels like, and see if it would be a good fit for you. I only have a few spots because this is really intimate work that I'm doing with you. Even though we're not talking live face-to-face, I'm touching in almost every day with my clients who are using this program. And I want to make sure that you're a good fit for that, and that it's really going to benefit you, and that we're going to be able to work together well. So check it out. You can sign up for a discovery call at kellycovert.com/discovery, and I can tell you more about it. Now, let me remind you that you know what's coming, right? You matter. We need you. We need you listening to your inner voice. We need you dreaming the big dream the big dream, the one that doesn't fit in the pan, because that is the dream that you were born to dream and that you were born to realize. You are worthy.